survived a very traumatic birth, and also we had had a miscarriage before Jackson, so he was our little miracle. He was just happy and joyful and always had a smile that went across his whole face, lit up the room. He also would have little things at an early age that were a little bit different. We could just kind of tell that his brain was different. On one hand, he would hardly cry, and then on another hand, around probably 3 to 6 months of age, there were times when he would just scream for no reason and cry. And one time in particular, we were at a carnival and just watching him stare at the whirling lights around and just scream as if it was physically hurting him. And about a year of age is when we really started to notice that Jackson was truly different.
Yeah, he wasn't talking at the same to the same degree that kids his age.
Yeah, at a year old, he didn't have any speech. And we noticed not only did he not really have any speech other than babble, he wasn't pointing or gesturing to tell us what he wanted. He wasn't wouldn't follow one-step request. Go get the ball, Jackson, get your juice cup. He wouldn't follow those instructions. And he wouldn't respond to his name. By the time he was 2 years old, he still hardly had any speech, maybe just a handful of words that we would only hear now and again. And by the time he was 2, he had lost all ability to make eye contact. We saw the psychologist 4 days before Jackson's 3rd birthday. And it was the longest day of our lives. We sat for 7 hours watching our son be evaluated and answering questions. And at the end of that day, came away with an autism diagnosis. And it was the worst day of our lives. It was the hardest day of our lives.
What was particularly tough about it wasn't just that here's a psychologist that gives us a diagnosis that hey, something's wrong with your child, but almost within the same breath, the psychologist said, we're diagnosing your son with autism spectrum disorder, and you basically have a fight ahead of you, not just for your child and helping him, but the insurance companies are going to fight you every step of the way. And in Tennessee, it's one of the kind of dozen states at the time or more that did not require insurance companies to cover any of the therapies that the psychologists were telling us our son had to have. They recommended that Jackson have anywhere from 10 to 20 hours a week of applied behavior analysis therapy. And so we just kind of left that meeting feeling defeated and confused and
heartbroken.
We didn't know what we were going to do for our son.
But we also left saying, we're going to do whatever it takes, and we're going to get our child. We're going to get Jackson everything he needs, no matter what it takes. The ABA therapy is what we had such a hard time with. And that was what was most disappointing, because we were told, and through our research, we knew that ABA therapy was the only shot Jackson had at being a self-sustaining, independent adult. That if he didn't get ABA therapy, that those chances were very low.
And we were willing to go anywhere. And thankfully, we ended up in Virginia, and we are happy to be here, and we love it here. But and Jackson's therapies are covered, but we only have another year and a half until that coverage runs out.
Right now, the Virginia autism legislation has coverage for ABA therapy, but only through age 6. So the day that Jackson turns 7 years old, he will lose insurance coverage on ABA therapy. Right now, Jackson is at a special school where he receives intensive ABA therapy all throughout the school day. Just in the 6 months that Jackson has been in this school and receiving this intensive ABA therapy every day, we have seen him grow exponentially. When we moved to Virginia, he was speaking, Jackson was speaking, but he didn't really ask questions. It was mainly just identifying and responding, to questions with one word or simple phrases. But just within the first few weeks of being at the school, Jackson started asking us questions, and he started initiating play with his sister. He
had
never done that before. He's just blossomed. The future is so bright for him with what we've seen, but we are terrified that if this age cap doesn't get lifted, then Jackson will lose those resources, because quite frankly, we can't afford to have the intensive ABA, to have them come to our home and do the play groups and everything that we're getting right now because it's covered by insurance. We'll lose that. Jackson will lose that. And I'm terrified to know what that would mean for his future. Terrified.
And this legislation would help him, and it would help so many other kids.
Thousands of children
that
in Virginia
that are in the same situation.
But autism doesn't stop at age 7. He needs this therapy, well into his teenage years, if not possibly, into adulthood.